everybody. Time to rise and shine. I'm Shelby Barrett, the Stonette for the STONED Roadie Show, and it's time to wake and bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. Podcast number 205 of the STONED Roadie Show. And it's another Wake and Bake the Morning Buzz episode number 84. And it's Monday morning, and it's August the 5th. 2024, and my name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the STONED Roadie, also known as the world's most famous roadie ever since the dinosaurs roamed the earth before it froze and made all the giant trees we now call mountains. And this is my co-host, the rocket scientist Griff Martin. And our Stonette, Shelby Barrett. Welcome back, Shelby. So what the heck we going to talk about this today? Well, who's going to be my co-host today? I guess it's going to be Shelby, huh? What we got going, Shelby?
Not a whole lot. Happy to be here.
Shelby, how do you identify? Are you a he, her, or are you a she, him?
I'll take she, her, if that's okay with y'all.
Yeah, I'm a he, him, but I'm a black man.
Are you?
Yeah, there's more perks with being a black man. So, well, Shelby, it's nice to see you. You know,
good to see y'all.
We've seen you at the beginning introducing the podcast, and we also saw you, when we did a little video interview with you back at the Manatee Fest. But now here you are live on the STONED Roadie podcast, and we're breaking Shelby in to kind of moderate, and help Craig out, kind of like I do. So you got to get ready, and you got to break a lot of brain cells loose. So I'll teach you how to do that, Shelby. It's not that.
Be patient with me.
Yeah, it's not that hard. So I sent Shelby a bunch of questions that we took from a lot of different podcasts where there were comments and things, and I tried to go through and find some that we haven't ever discussed, and I sent them to Shelby. But before we do that, I found something pretty cool to talk about that's right up Craig's alley, and it's called Fat Frontmen. And what it is a lot of these frontmen that used to be, there's one right there, and they just let themselves go, and now they're still frontmen, and they're still doing their thing. And Craig said one time, he said, man, if you're going to be a front man, it's one thing to go ahead and have a weight gain situation. That's all well and good. But when you're front man in a band, you kind of want to be able to look the part. But those guys, they just don't care anymore. So who we got there? That's Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. And
then, you got those other ones and sent them to me, but I wasn't able to bring them up, cut their heads off.
Yeah, I might be able to put one up here. I don't know. Let me see if I can find one here. You got the background here, and then.
But they're like everyone else.
I don't imagine my audience is much more different than normal regular people. 80% of the people out there are fat, so I imagine 80% of the people watching are fat, so. But
right there, that's KC, the Sunshine Band guy right there. He blew up like a tick. And then let me see who else we got. All I got is the bust of this is let me see who this is. I think this is this isn't Mike Reno here, is it? Yeah, that might be Mike Reno's bust right there. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll put all the guys up that are fat front men, and I'll go into edit, and you guys can see them. But we just kind of want to start that out as something kind of funny front fat front men. But yeah, we're just gonna jump in here now to Shelby, and she's gonna start asking some questions. Y'all set, Shelby?
All set. Wait on
Greg,
you.
do you have anything you want to go over, like donations or anything?
No, we didn't have any donations, and I've been working on all this stuff, getting it together to send stuff out to people. So we're creeping up on the situation.
You can't put your video up of your pond, can you? Somehow that video that you took of all that water in that pond.
Oh,
I saw that. That was crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, since Craig had his pond dug out by through the help of Jesus for Survivors, and then you had like 4 inches of rain, didn't you, Craig?
It was like 4 inches of rain in like an hour. So
and then now Griff's grotto
full.
is all full.
So
now, right?
it's not as big as it was yesterday.
Can I come down and do some baptismals?
I was going to ask you when your first one was scheduled for.
Griff the Baptist, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Jesus for Survivors, and he was concerned there when he saw that video. He's like, maybe I should have put a berm in there or something. Man, that looks like it's pretty rough. I said, well, I think it's calmed down by now. But all right, Shelby, go ahead and break into those questions, and let's see if we can jog some brain cells loose in the old Stone Roadie's head.
All right. Well, first off, if you never met Lynyrd Skynyrd, where do you think you would be now? Like, what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't a roadie?
Man, I don't know, because
I know that's a big question.
I was an auto mechanic, and I had planned on being an auto mechanic, but at the time I met Lynyrd Skynyrd, I figured out that I didn't want to be an auto mechanic. And I sold all my tools, so I couldn't be an auto mechanic. And I was
got out of it, huh?
I was running down the wrong road. I can tell you that one right now. So it's I'd probably be dead, really.
From what?
I was running the edge, yeah. So
Skynyrd kind of adopted you, and you took you under their wing, but you were doing drugs before you got with Skynyrd, so
yeah, I was.
You think you would have done less drugs without Skynyrd?
I probably did more drugs with Skynyrd. I don't know. That's a toss up. Yeah, being around Alan, I probably did a lot more drugs with Skynyrd. Yeah.
Well, you definitely wouldn't have been in a plane crash.
No, but yeah, it's hard to tell where I'd be.
Yeah.
It's a wonder I'm not dead. I went somewhere last night, and I was laughing. I go, yeah, I'd be late for my own funeral. I said, matter of fact, I think I am, but by about 20 years. Yeah.
I'll probably be late for mine too.
Yeah,
the main
I'm late
thing
for my own
is
funeral.
I think he's pretty happy with how he turned out. I mean,
Oh God, yeah. People ask me all the time, what would you have rather done in life rather than do what you did? And I go, because man, I can't think of anything I'd really, there's a lot of things you could do to make a lot more money, but
it's not always about the money.
That's the only thing.
It's the
only thing that I didn't really have. I didn't have a whole bunch of money, but I did everything. I did everything they did. I stayed in the same places. Hell, I lived in their houses. I drove their cars. We stayed in the same 5-star hotels and ate in the finest restaurants over the world. And I did everything they did. So. I just didn't have the bankroll that they had, but I did everything they did. It's right next to it. It's about as close as you can get. It's about as close as you can get to being a rock star. That's for sure.
Shelby, you've been kind of like jet setting around here lately a little bit, weren't you? There for a
Yeah,
while. Where all'd you go?
So I got to fly out to Las Vegas and for one weekend, and then like 1 or 2 days, and then I went to Los Angeles, flew into there too for a couple of days, and then flew back to Florida since I've been staying in Jacksonville.
And you're you know, just so people know, you don't live that far from the monument.
No, not that far. I think it's about 2 hours from my house.
And tell the story how you became the Stonette.
Okay. Yeah. So while I'm here, you were having the event going on down there at the monument last October 20th, and I just felt like I needed to go check it out. I'd always been wanting to go, and when I heard that y'all were having a band down there and the food trucks and everybody was out there, and I just decided to come check it out. And I was taking a picture of the monument actually when you walked up to me, Griff, and you asked if you wanted to, or if I wanted you to take my picture with the monument, and I said yeah. And that's when I met Craig, and it's just been where I'm supposed to be ever since.
Yeah, Craig
I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Well, I seen you when we were out at the crash site, and I said, well, who's that big tall girl over there, you know? And then you were real friendly, and you were so young.
I actually got to go down to the crash site too.
Yeah, and I was thinking, how is it that
or side by sides down there? And
I was thinking, how is it that a young girl knows so much about Lynyrd Skynyrd, you know? And then I got to talking to her, and then I said, okay, that's it. She's pretty, she's young, you know, nothing but a bunch of old people on this podcast, and we need some fresh looking young people on here. And then so I say, yeah, this is her. So
Lynyrd Skynyrd has always been one of my favorite bands. They've changed my outlook on music for sure. And
well, that's how that happened. And so what have you been up to lately? You back?
Well, I've been in Florida for the last several months. I started out in Jacksonville, and I started renting a house down in St. Augustine, and going to the beach and go into the local bars to hear the talent that's around town, like just playing or listening to them, hearing good music. That's what I moved down there for.
And you've been hanging out with Street Preacher and Derek Hess and guys like that. And
yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to be close to all of them.
Yeah, so, you know, when we have events and stuff, the Shelby will be there. She's going to go up there to Oklahoma, so we'll see her up there, and I'll videotape her. But sorry for the interruption. I'll let you get back to your interview with the Stone.
No, you're fine. So Craig, if well, you said that you don't know what you'd be doing. Did you think that it was going to last as long as it did, working for Lynyrd Skynyrd, like before and after the crash? Is that what you wanted to do long term, or did it?
I had no clue. One of my friends, she called me from Florida and asked me if she said, "Hey, you met those Lynyrd guys from Lynyrd Skynyrd?" And I goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, why don't you meet? They're playing in Atlanta on New Year's Eve. Why don't you meet me in Atlanta and we'll go to the show?" I go, "Yeah, okay, we'll do that." So, yeah.
Who was the first member of Lynyrd Skynyrd that you remember talking to? Do you know?
That was up in Ohio. Ed King. Yeah, he had. When he was up in Ohio, and I met them at that hotel. After they were at the shows and everything, he called me at home and they came. Billy and Ed and Billy and Leon and Bob. I don't know. There's about 4 of them came out. I don't remember exactly which ones. And Ed asked me if I would ever think about working for them, and I could doing what, you know. Because I was just like hung out with him, you know. So so he asked, you know. So he asked me, you know, maybe, and I went. I was when I left here, I was pretty much confident that I don't know why, but I was pretty much confident that I was going to go
That's just what you
work for
wanted to
Lynyrd Skynyrd, and I had no idea that I was, and you know, I packed a suitcase like, you know, I'm going on the road and working with these guys. And
that's awesome.
It's just, you know, it just happened, you know.
It's what you were supposed to do, I guess.
Shelby, you know.
But when I did it, I had no idea, you know, because bands come and go. My God, you know, and to think I'd still be doing this 50 years later, no way. I mean, that's crazy. I thought, oh, this will last maybe, you know, until this band is no more. You know,
Couple years they go
six,
on.
6 months or a year, maybe, if that. You know, but hell, I'm gonna roll with it. It sounds like fun. You know, so.
You know what concreted it for him, Shelby, was when Ronnie saw that Craig had everybody's cigarette lit and their cocaine line lined up when they got done, and he had their
Convenience.
beer, yeah, their
Big
beer
thing.
ready, and then he said, "Yeah, this is the guy
Yeah.
for us."
Well, I had
Right.
no idea what I was supposed to do. You know, they said, "Here, set up these drums," and I had no idea how to set up drums or tune them or clean the cymbals properly or take care of drums. I had no clue.
So you just learned everything as you went along,
Yeah,
just let people
and
tell you how they wanted stuff done.
yeah, so I did that, and I really didn't even know how to do that, and I'm sitting there behind the amp line, and I'd seen them coming back there and trying to find a cigarette and try to find a lighter and try to light their cigarette in between songs. So I went, I'll just. I'd smoke joints after them, so they're not gonna mind if I light cigarettes for them, So I set up an ashtray, right? I'd time it right when they would come back and get a cigarette, and I'd light a cigarette and put it up on the ashtray. And Ronnie seen me doing that, and he goes, "Man, that guy don't even smoke cigarettes, man. He's back there lighting our cigarettes for us." And,
Looking out for
he's
everybody.
actually a team player, man. And,
Yeah.
from then on, we got along good.
What was the hardest thing you would have to do as a roadie? What was the thing you dreaded the most? What was the hardest?
Oh, the load ins and the load outs when it's real cold and you got to load the truck and it's real cold and you got to you got to use a ramp and yeah, a lot of times there's not, when you're a small band, you have not real good stagehands and stuff to help you, and but when you get bigger, that all goes away. All the stagehands and
You can
everything.
put it off on somebody else to do
Pretty
the stuff that you don't
professional,
want to.
but yeah, but still, the loadouts are probably the worst. I don't know. Maybe the load ins, having to get up after being up drinking and stuff and having to get up real early. That might be.
Made it a little hard on
There's
you.
a lot of negatives, but it all has to do with doing things that are extracurricular that don't have anything to do with the job that you probably shouldn't be doing anyway.
Yeah.
But you started off like loading equipment yourself, and then you became kind of like the boss of all the road crew too, though, right, Craig? So.
Well, yeah, after Joe Barnes got into it with Ronnie, I was kind of like next in line. Besides Kevin was always kind of the boss, but he was like the boss that didn't really want to be the boss. he just wanted to run the out front, stuff. But everybody knew that Kevin, knew what was supposed to happen. So he was always probably the number one road guy, but he never took that responsibility. He didn't want that responsibility. He just wanted to do the out front sound, and he always set up Billy's keyboards in the early days. But then after we got a keyboard guy, then Kevin just moved and just started doing the out front sound. Yeah, but I don't remember the original question. But yeah, I became the number one roadie. Yeah, I actually did. Yeah, I actually that was funny. Last night I went to a local thing at the amphitheater here. They have a alumni class reunion, and they had this little amphitheater. And my friend plays in this band, Murphy's Law. Steve Etheridge, he's a guitar player. I've known him since 1958, and I was talking to him Saturday night, and he said you were I was at your house Gary Rossington called you and wanted you to come down to Florida and start up the Rossington Collins band. And I said, you were really? And he goes, yeah. I said, God, I don't remember that. And I said, I remember sitting I was in the basement talk, and I remember taking the call from Gary and him asking me, he said, we're going to put a band back together. Are you with us? I said, yeah, man, I'm on my way. And I guess he was here, and I went outside, and I told him, I said, man, that was Gary. He wants me to come back. They're going to start a band up. And I said, oh, who's in the band? And I said, well, all that Gary said was he was in the band, and Alan was in the band, and I was in the band, and that's all there was yet.
That's all that matters.
So, but it's not like I guess it's because I knew how to put all the stuff together, all the amps and stuff.
He knew you could take care of everybody.
I guess I would have been their number one choice to do it. There were a couple of other guys that kind of knew how to do it, but I guess I was their first choice to take over that that obligation. Yeah, so that was cool.
What were some of the perks that you enjoyed as a roadie working for them? Like, what were some of the things that you got to do that I guess everybody else didn't get to just because you were with them?
Well, yeah. A lot of times I actually traveled with a band, like there would be crew buses and band buses, and that was like in the later days, and actually during the tribute band, because
so you got to be on the bands instead of
I more or less travel. I was more like on the production side, so I was kind of more on the band side than the crew side, so I kind of traveled with the band. So I did a lot of stuff that the crew guys didn't get to do. After when the tribute band came around, they goes, man, we're doing this stuff, and we want to actually, when we're traveling around the country, we want to actually do things and see stuff.
Yeah.
We were like on this non-stop tourist trip. We would plan our routes to go and stop at all these places that we never really get to stop and look at before.
That's awesome that you got to take the time and go do a little bit of stuff.
Yeah, and we were up in Alaska. We went whale watching, and all the big whales were going under the boat, and and it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun watching the manatees at Crystal River, but that's as close as I got to whale watching.
We did that. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And Craig got to meet John Lennon and three of the Beatles and all the kind of cool stuff. Yeah.
Oh, talking about John Lennon, getting a little bit off the track here, but we've talked about frequencies before on all this stuff is coming up on my timeline about all this stuff that's been hidden from us, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming up about frequencies, and music is done in 440 hertz, but it was always done in 432 hertz, and that was supposed to be really soothing and stuff, but for some reason Rothschild had it changed to 440 hertz, which is a little more irritating to people than 432, and it's kind of odd that he would do that. Rothschild, he's behind all kind of stuff. He destroyed all the bells that were in all the churches and stuff, that the great big bells that were in the town, and the bells were huge, the size of rooms and stuff, and it would be up in this steeple, and they would ring that bell, and the whole town would feel the vibrations of this bell, this frequency of this bell, and it was really soothing. And Rothschild had all the bells destroyed, and come to find out, I don't know this for a fact, but I guess that's how the Liberty Bell got cracked. It was done on purpose so it wouldn't have that soothing sound anymore,
Wow.
and all the bells all the bells are cracked. They've all been destroyed, and yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on that are coming to light, and somebody said, we're coming to the end of the world. We're coming to the end of the world where everything is so secret to people that people are starting to figure shit out, so
Stuff's starting to add up.
hopefully that's what's going on. But I know there's a lot of conspiracy stuff going on, especially, my God, everything's talking about the flat earth, and there's a lot of things that make a lot of sense on both sides, and I tell you, I'm kind of leaning toward the flat earth side at this point. Get out the tinfoil hats here on the Stone Roadies show.
Well, we'll corrupt Shelby. We'll have her with her tinfoil hat on soon.
Back to the question. I don't know how I got off onto the jibber jabber.
Get me back. What about this? Was there ever a concert where you saw Ronnie walk off the stage? And if you did, why? Bad enough to leave during the show or anything?
No.
I didn't figure. Yeah.
No, we had to carry him off a couple times.
Had a little too much fun up there?
No, he fell out on stage, man. He was he had a lot of throat problems, and he had to be carried off stage a couple times.
Oh, what he just what was he, drunk or something, or what?
Or just
he just passed out. He just
gave out.
Yeah, he just passed out, and I can remember one time in particular, because when I went to pick him up, I realized when I was picking him up, I was standing on his hair as we were trying to pick him up. I don't think he appreciated that very much.
Probably not.
Well, did he even know what was going on?
I don't know. I didn't hear him say "ow," so he must have been out. I know it had to hurt.
So was that the end of the show?
No, it was right in the middle of the set.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we had to cancel about a week or so, a couple times because of his throat. Yeah, I saw him spit blood. I mean, how do you spit blood and sing? That's stupid. You can't spit blood and sing. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I can't even imagine doing that. That's crazy.
I can't sing as it is, but if I was spitting up blood, it'd be definite no. Is there anything specific that you had to watch out for, that Ronnie would get mad at you over, that would get you in trouble? Is there certain things you couldn't do, or were you pretty much?
No. He just wanted he would get irritated. He would get irritated if he looked around and he didn't have eye contact with you during the show. If you were doing something that was show related, it wasn't bad. But if you were staring at some woman in the crowd, you'd hear about it after the show.
As long as everybody gets their job done, huh?
I don't pay you to sit and look at the women out there. When I turn around, I want eye contact.
Yeah. Gotta be on your toes, I'm sure.
That's not too much to ask for.
You're up there working, not to gawk at the women in the audience.
only when it's time for you to go out and get one for him and bring her backstage.
Yeah.
That's what.
But he would also say, "But I can't hardly blame you. She was good looking."
Maybe too mad at you. It depended on the one you were looking at.
He just wanted to let me know that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing, but he understood.
Do it off the clock, huh? Let's see. Out of all of Ronnie's famous friends, who would you say that he looked up to or liked the most?
Oh, Paul Rogers was always one of his favorites. Yeah. And Charlie Daniels, they were really close. Him and Charlie were pretty close. And we seen Charlie all the time, though. So they were pretty pretty tight. Him and Charlie Daniels.
Did they hang out like
All the Southern rock guys? We all, we did so many shows together. We all became, Marshall Tucker, the Outlaws, and Wet Willie, and
I got to see the Outlaws play while I was in California. I enjoyed that. That was really
cool.
Yeah. And you were mentioning Jimmy Hall, from Wet Willie. You were talking.
Yeah, I got to meet Jimmy.
He was down in Florida. Yeah, we used to do a lot of shows with Wet Willie, and that's where we met Leslie Hawkins. From Wet Willie. She sang back for Wet Willie. Yeah.
Gotcha. Let's see here. What about anybody that he didn't care for? Like anybody famous in bands that he just didn't like or had problems with?
He didn't like Yes.
He didn't? Oh, why
not? No. Me and Kevin kind of like some Yes songs, and he didn't like any of the Yes stuff. No.
Was there a reason he just didn't like?
I don't know.
Music,
I get no. I don't know.
He just said one day, "Man, I don't like that." Yes.
Yeah.
He said no.
That's the only band I ever heard him say he didn't like, and it was Yes. He said,
"Oh wow, that's a new one." Ronnie, do you like Yes? No.
No. Yeah, Kevin and I kind of like Yes, but Ronnie didn't like Yes.
Do you dislike Yes, Ronnie? Yes.
Yeah, them. What were some of Ronnie's pet peeves as a singer, that like stuff that he had to deal with that he couldn't get out of dealing with, that he had to, I guess come to terms with going on during the
monitors?
shows?
I guess if he couldn't hear his monitors, that was his biggest argument.
Paul Welch was in charge of the monitors at the time of the Street Survivor.
No, Kenny Peden actually was in charge of the monitors. Paul Welch was on the lighting crew, but Paul was in charge of doing the whistle to make sure the whistle came up in the monitor mix. Yeah. Or something to that effect. He was in charge of the whistle when the whistle came up. Yeah.
And that whistle kind of cued something off too, because I remember Alan heard it better one time when he never could, and he looked over at Paul like, "Man, that's great. I appreciate you getting that whistle."
Yeah, he was in charge of turning that whistle up real loud.
That's pretty cool.
That's what he said, anyways.
Okay, so we know Ronnie liked to fish in his spare time. Is there anything else that he did as hobbies, or was it just kind of relaxing to sit and fish?
Oh God!
Did he do anything
what
else?
else did he do in his spare time? Geez. That's about the that just I'm not really sure. Just in the last few months, he just had Melody. So I guess when he was home, he was spending some time with her. I guess that took up a lot of his time after, in the last year, I guess that took up a lot of his time. That only lasted, not even 4 years for me. I mean, it was, January 1st, 1974 up until October the 20th, 1977. So it was, not even 4 years.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't a whole lot of time in between concerts and things.
Yeah, we weren't home a lot. We were always, like I said before, if we weren't on the road touring, we were at home rehearsing or in the studio recording or it was always something band related. We were only home off the road. At home, we were only home for like 5 days at the most. And
did y'all hang out with each other during your off days? Like,
I mean, I did.
Or did you go your separate ways and be sick of each other for a few days? Were you ready for a break, or were you just always?
Oh yeah. I mean, like me, I kind of did guitars and I did drums and I could do it all. So when they went to the studio, I was the one that went, with them. So I was always working.
Yeah.
I would go with them and buy the drinks and go, to the store and keep everything iced down at the studio, so it was, all good to go. And then I could do the guitars and the drums or whatever else needed done. So I was the one that always went to the studio with them, So I was always with them.
Yeah. Gotcha. What'd you like to do in your spare time? What was like your favorite hobby?
I played a lot of tennis.
Really?
Yeah, I played a lot of tennis. I got pretty good at playing tennis. Yeah, I was in pretty good shape back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played a lot of tennis. Yeah. Yeah.
Who'd you play with?
On the road, me and Bob O'Neill played. When we went to Australia, we played over on grass. That was pretty cool. We played in Australia on that grass court over there. I don't remember the name of it. That was pretty cool. But the couple of different people on the road played a little bit. Kevin played tennis, and me and Kevin played. And Bob O'Neill and a couple other people played tennis.
Then you guys would all get together and play softball from time to time too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we did that. And then a lot of us got together during the tribute tour and started playing golf. A lot of us would go play golf on days off. We would call we'd call these golf courses that you normally couldn't get on and say, "Hey man, we're with Lynyrd Skynyrd. You want to trade some concert tickets for green fees?" And they go, "Yeah, man, come on out."
Who's going to turn that down?
So we played some really pretty cool golf courses all over the country. That normally you couldn't really get into. Me and oh God, I forget who it was. We're playing it, and the guy said, "I can get you on, but you'd have to go off at like 6 a.m. because there's a PGA amateur classic going on at like 7 or something like that. So you'd have to stay way up in front of them." and they
I'm sure y'all hadn't gone to bed
they had all these courses all manicured and stuff for these amateur pros to to play on, and we're up there in front of them hacking the damn thing in the sand traps and stuff. We tried to keep, but we had to play pretty fast. We could hear them coming behind us.
Yeah. And I was be fast and careful. They got to pick one.
And I was hitting about 6 balls every hole. So I was leaving balls scattered all over the course. And yeah, we're a mess.
You sound like you play golf about like I do.
I like to go swing as much as possible. I don't like to go out there and swing as less as possible. I want to go out there and swing.
Get the most of it.
So I place as many balls as possible. I throw one down until I hit one I like. And there you go. I like that one.
Yeah, Craig and we played birdie ball at his house and I think we hit a few real golf balls. And Craig actually said, "Griff, I think you might be good at this." He's honest.
We'll have to go golfing one day.
Yeah, I'm not a golfer.
Me either.
I gave you some birdie ball stuff though, didn't I? No?
No.
Oh, I thought I did. I gave somebody that stuff.
That's pretty cool, that birdie ball. It's not even a ball. It looks like a little piece of PVC.
Yeah, it looks like a napkin ring, a little round napkin ring.
Yeah.
About 1.5 inches long.
But it's crazy how you can hit it.
It's about the same size as a golf ball, and it reacts just kind of like a golf ball. But the cool thing about it, you can hit it with a driver as hard as you want, and it won't go over 40 yards.
Yeah, you can.
But it
actually,
reacts pretty much like a golf ball. It's pretty cool for practice.
Yeah, it helps you learn how to hit, and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, my friend lives over by Portage Lakes, and he wants to he's got a little lot over on Portage Lakes, and he's just got a little area where he could do that. And I was telling him that would be the thing to do, the birdie ball. And so
Yeah, you don't need a lot of room for a birdie ball.
That's good to practice with. Yeah. Plus, you can hit shit with it and don't hurt nothing. Just kind of bounces off.
Kind of neat.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about busting windows out or nothing.
Yeah. Sorry I got you off track. I got a few more questions. Can you remember a time in the original Skynyrd band that somebody couldn't come on stage and perform because they were too drunk or stoned or high or something?
I remember a couple of times where they shouldn't have got back up on stage, but they did.
Was Ronnie mad about it, or was he one of them?
Oh yeah, Ronnie, yeah.
Who were they, Craig? Was anybody in particular?
Leon. We'll just say that one.
Leon must have been problematic several times.
Billy at times, but man, Billy could be drunker than shit and still play the hell out of that piano. He might not be able to walk away from it very well, but he could play the shit out of it.
I forget who it was that said the more he drank, the better he played.
Oh, man, yeah. He might have had a hard time walking away from it. Well, he was sitting there. He was good at it. Oh, God.
I got this one. How often did Ronnie come knocking on your door asking if he had a friend? Was that something that happened a lot, or was
about
it
once
just...
every 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. How many times did you say no?
About twice a month.
No wasn't an answer for that question, I'm assuming.
Was there a particular time, Craig, that you can tell us a story about a particular time that you had to go take care of some business for him, other than during
God,
song?
One time I was me and Raymond were rooming together, and Ronnie come beating on the door. Do I have a friend? And I said, well, Ronnie, wait a minute. Let me wake Raymond up. He was drunk, So we took Raymond down there with it. I said, how many of them are there, Ronnie? He goes, I don't know, 4, 5, 6. We'll probably get our asses beat, but they'll know they've been in a fight anyways. So I went down there with him, and we sat down at the table, and he broke a bottle over this table and was putting on this show. Broke a bottle. I'll cut that son of a bitch like this, and stuck it right there, and I could feel it right at my throat.
Stuck it on you?
Yeah, he said, I'll cut that son of a bitch, and broke a bottle and stuck it like this.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
They weren't there, or what? Where were they at?
They were
your friends.
They were the people that were messing with him were sitting right at the table next to us when we.
So he needed a model to come down with him so he could put the bottle in his throat.
He scared the shit out of them guys using me.
Well, he liked to break that bottle a lot, because he did that to Ed King.
That's all I remember is I'll cut that son of a bitch, and smashed a bottle and stuck it like that. I could feel it right there. Yeah, those guys got up and left.
I don't blame you.
That was better than having to fight him, though, wasn't it, Craig?
Yeah. Yeah, it turned out good. Jesus was watching this, or one of his disciples that time.
Saved some trouble on that one.
Yeah. Oh, I watched a podcast that says that it's time for us disciples to go to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for us disciples to get busy.
Well, we're pretty busy, Craig, as disciples.
Let's see. Since most of the original band members are gone now, except for Leslie and Artie, you were there through everything. Who do you think they're still here, or why do you think they're still here, and why are you still here as well?
I don't know why I'm still here, man. Like I told these guys last night, I'll be late for my own funeral.
You've got disciple work to do.
I'm about
That's what it is.
20 years late for my own funeral.
Yeah, what do you think it is?
Leslie's kind of lived a clean life, you know. I mean, she's just, trucking along the best she can. And Artie, he's led a pretty clean life too. You know, he's never been an alcoholic or a drug addict or smoked or anything, you know. So,
stayed pretty clean though.
I mean, I guess I'm pretty good genetically. I guess I've been able to heal myself, but I kind of learned a few years ago and gave up all that stuff,
I think Craig got a blood transfusion from Keith Richards. And that's
probably so.
And that's why he's still around.
No, you know what? I had that hepatitis C. 2014. Yeah, up until about 2014. That's when I just seek treatments for that hepatitis C. I took that Harvoni, and whatever was in that shit kind of it not only took the hep C out of me, it kind of some kind of detox to me or something.
That's when Craig got on the bus and peed all over everybody.
I don't know what it is. No, ever since 1974, when I got all those shots to go over to Europe and stuff, I haven't been sick since then. I mean, I haven't even, hardly had a cold. I haven't had the flu or nothing like that.
Got you covered.
Since 1974, since I.
But he eats that Stone Roadie soup, and stuff like that. So.
But I got that Hep C from. Sharing a needle with Gary and Alan, and then
Gary got rid of it too, though. He took the same treatment, right?
I don't know about that. Yeah, I know he was having issues with because he was doing the same thing that I was doing when I had to leave the road. He tripped and fell over and knocked a tooth out or something, taking that injection stuff that we were taking.
It's almost like interferon. It's pretty nasty. Yeah, it's pretty nasty stuff. Yeah,
you had to inject yourself, and it didn't do anything. Yeah, that new stuff, Harvoni. I got on the experimental thing with that through Cleveland Clinic because I live close to the Cleveland Clinic. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That's up to $1,000 a pill, and that was when I was doing it. Before that, it was like $3,000 a pill or something.
How many pills did it take?
You got to take it for 3 months, so it's $1,000 a pill. So it's $90,000.
Damn.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's better than being dead.
Yeah.
Small price to pay. Since you brought up Gary and Alan, after Rossington Collins band split up, did they talk much after that? Did they ever talk again, Gary and Alan, after they had
No,
left?
after the Ross and Collins band, they didn't talk
That was
all the
pretty
way
much
up until the tribute band thing was going to come around, and then that's when Alan got in that car wreck. As soon as they started negotiations for that,
They never got back close again.
he
Then.
got into that car wreck.
Yeah.
From what
Well,
I
they-
remember, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's from what I remember. It was right at that time. I'm pretty sure that they had got into negotiations to do that right before Alan wrecked that car. But
Would you say that they made peace with each other, or what would you think happened?
that's when they started talking. You know, I remember, you know, that there's that film footage of Alan coming out on stage in the wheelchair and Gary walking up to him and, you know, acknowledging him. That was really kind of like the first time they'd seen each other. Seriously, it was.
Now, I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah, that was pretty much the first time they'd seen each other, yeah. Yeah, because Alan had just showed up. It wasn't like Alan was there before the show. Alan was on his way there, and he had this little bus, and he was late getting there. So yeah.
Were they? Do you know if Gary and Alan were on good terms?
When they died, yeah. Well,
They kind of smoothed it over.
yeah, kind of. Alan got. To tell the truth, Alan was worried that Gary was gonna ruin the band. Yeah.
Did Gary go to Alan's
I got to be
funeral?
truthful
No?
with that. You know, in the hospital, Alan was going, "Daddy, don't let that ruin my band."
Aw.
You know, I'm sorry. That's the truth. You know?
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Do you know if Gary went to Alan's funeral?
I don't know that. I was on the road with Marshall Tucker when that happened. So
Yeah, I wonder if
Gary's-
I wonder if he was there.
Gary was the only funeral I went to.
Really?
That was the only one. I didn't want to. I didn't want to go to Leon's. Leon and I were really close, but I just didn't want to see Leon dead. I just didn't want to do it. And then after it happened, I'm glad I didn't, because they shaved him and cut his hair. It did. And Gary walked up and said, "Who the hell's that?"
Man.
You know, it's yeah. So I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah. It's better that way. I'm like that sometimes too. Let's see.
I don't want to be at my own funeral.
Yeah, I'm not going. I'd be late anyway, just like Greg. I'll just not
I'm
show
way
up.
late. Yeah.
Let's talk about the airplane for a second. What was everybody's thoughts on the plane when you first got it? Like, was it making stuff easier? Did it make it harder on y'all? Like, was it the schedule?
I didn't
stuff,
bother
or were
me.
y'all excited to have it?
The plane we crashed on, you know, I didn't like as much as the plane we had before that. It was a better plane. But
What happened with the first one? Why'd y'all get rid of the first one? Was
it
it
didn't
just
bother
an upgrade?
me. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't the greatest plane, but it was pretty cool, you know. I mean, I don't know. It was Jerry Lee Lewis's old plane, you know, so just that was pretty cool to me. I'm flying on Jerry Lee Lewis's old plane, you know, so. You know, I like old cars, man. I'd rather drive an old car than a new car, you know.
I'm
So,
that way too.
you know, that didn't bother me. And like I said before, that plane was safe. I mean, you could, you know, it would
It was
glide
bendable
in
as far as
anywhere as
everybody
long as you weren't over water or trees. You were cool, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the plane didn't bother me. You know, it's just those pilots were. I could have landed that plane better than they did. I'd have been looking for a field or, like I said before, I don't know why we didn't land in that pipeline or on Route 55. That's crazy.
After the crash, what bands did you go looking for? Like, who did you work for after that? What happened?
Oh, that was crazy,
after the
man.
crash?
I'm laying here in Ohio. Still had casts on and stuff, and I got these bands calling me, wanting me to be their guitar tech, man. I'm going, I can't work. Yeah, God, it was right after the crash. And Cheap Trick called me, and I said, how many guitars you got? And they said 28, and I go, no, thank you.
No.
So so then I got a call, Clayton Johnson and Kevin Elson. Heard that Foreigner needed a guitar tech, so I did the 1978 Foreigner World Tour, and then Kevin got me a job with Journey, doing the Journey 1979 World Tour, and then as soon as the European thing, and I think I did a little bit of the U.S., and I called Gary and no, that's when. That's when Gary called me. Yeah, that's when Gary called me and said he wanted to start the Rosalind Collins band. Yeah.
That's awesome. So Lynyrd Skynyrd today, do you think there's anything surrounding the band now that Ronnie wouldn't go for? Like,
I don't know. You froze up there. I don't.
Sorry. What do you think, if anything, surrounding the Lynyrd Skynyrd band now that Ronnie wouldn't like? That he would have a problem
I don't think
with?
there's nothing he really wouldn't like. They're doing the best they can. I mean, Johnny's up there singing his songs, like, that's kind of like what Ronnie always speculated that Johnny would be doing. Ronnie told, they said it 1,000 times, one of these days my little brother Johnny's going to be up here singing my songs, and somehow he knew that, but there's nothing else that can be done. Everybody's dead. There's nobody else to do it, so it doesn't bother me. I mean, they're selling out places like, like the band's there. It's kind of humorous. This band's got this crazy following, and this like people, they've got kind of like a legend. They would, it's kind of remarkable, because it's kind of remarkable that I'm doing this podcast, the 205th podcast, talking about Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's kind of crazy. People want me to write a book and stuff. God, I don't want to write no book. I said I'd do a few of these podcasts. 205 later, here I am.
Just a few. What's one of your favorite stories to tell about, like, your favorite show that they played or something? Do you have any that stick out more than others that you had fun at?
Well, there were so many. All those New Year's Eve shows that Bill Graham put on were pretty spectacular, and then Nebworth, and
of course.
And God, Sedalia, Missouri. God, that was about close to 500,000 people too. And so that one I had to get there by helicopter. I flew over with Hart in the same helicopter
Really?
Hart did. That was pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh, they've done everything. My God, they played. We did a World Series of Rocks. I mean, we did some big shows, man. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy. It was a wild ride, but I'm glad I was chosen to do it. Yeah.
Would you do anything different, or would you do it just the same?
I wouldn't. I couldn't think of anything I'd rather did. I swear. I had to do all over again, I would go, no, I'll just do that again. I don't think there's anything else.
Couldn't be any better, could it?
No, I seriously don't. If I could, I don't think, you know,
That's awesome.
I just don't. I wouldn't have the. I mean, everybody wants. You hear about people's lifestyle. Everybody wants to live the lifestyle of a rock star. I mean, that's what I did.
And you did it.
I
You
mean,
did it
I
well.
lived the lifestyle of a rock star. A guy lives like a rock star. I did that, kinda as close as you can get
Yeah.
to it, I guess. The different things you do. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, but it's like being a rock star. You're doing something totally different every day. You're
Yeah.
in a
There's-
totally different.
There's structure, but there's no routine.
You're
I
in
guess.
you're in a situation that's out of your control, man.
Yeah.
For a long time. It's
The wild ride, I'm
never
sure.
ending, yeah. It's pretty incredible. It's just you just never know what's going to happen. It's just always something different, But yeah, it's probably something a little bit that is probably close, maybe, but I don't know what it would be.
Yeah.
That's
Is
legal.
that all the questions, Shelby?
Yeah, I think that finished them up. If you
Well, you did a pretty good job. Sound like Wicker and Leon are raising hell at the front door.
Oh, I don't know what they're doing.
Put them babies in.
They bark.
I can hear. Who is that? Is that Leon or Wicker? That's Leon. Isn't
I
it?
don't know. Yeah, they bark at any noise there is.
Well, Shelby, you did a great job. We appreciate you coming on, and
thank
there
y'all
might
for
be some
having me.
times whenever I'm going to be on the road or whatever, and Craig's going to need you to come on here and take my place. So we're breaking.
I'll get my
we're breaking-
tinfoil hat ready.
Yeah, we're breaking Shelby in. So
Yeah, I need a co-host. Ain't no way I could do this by myself. I need somebody to hold my hand.
I don't know why you picked me, but I'm glad you did. I'll do my best.
all right. Well, I guess we can wrap her up then, Craig. Thanks a lot, Shelby, for coming on. And,
Yeah, thank y'all for having me. I
really
enjoyed
good to
talking
see
to
you.
y'all. Good to see y'all.
And,
All righty then. This has been the Stone Roadie Show podcast number 205. And see ya later, alligator at the Wild Crocodile. And happy trails to you until we meet again. And that's a wrap. Cut. We're out of here.
thanks, Shelby.
Thank